Hello everyone, this is Gaming Vent, and we're here to show off one of our new rigs that we just built. It's one of our liquid cooling setups. Custom design, we built this from scratch. And this is one of the new open frame cases, which is really cool to show off all the components and liquid cooling setups that you have. The placement of the video card is also very unique to this case. It lets you do a flat side mount straight down slot with a PCIe ribbon cable. So you can kind of show off the card, especially if you're doing liquid cooling. It really adds some nice some looks and some lights to it. We're going to go over just some of the details on the build that we did here. We used some parts that we already had around, Z87 chipset with a 4770K processor that we have overclocked, and then we got a new video card, obviously the radiator, all the liquid cooling parts were all custom cut, all the couplers, put everything together, loaded Windows 10 on it, made it a nice solid gaming box for Steam and some of the other games that we play. We'll go ahead and power it on, show you the light look, and show you some of the other settings and things we can do with it, which is pretty cool. So we have a 480mm radiator on there, and total coolant in the system is about 2 liters, so quite a bit. We did standard tubing. We're going to do PVC tubing or something like that, hard tubing. We may do that later if we're going to modify it. That was ideal. We just didn't get all the parts in to complete the system, so we just went with the standard tubing. It's easier to install and cut. The look came out really well. So the layout and run of the system, this is our main reservoir, which is huge. So we have our outbound pump pulling water in, coming down to the bottom here. I got a T-fitting, so I can have a little drain tube, so if I ever want to drain the coolant, change it out, or just replace it. Transportation, whatever I need to do there. It's a nice, easy fitting on the bottom, twist off, run the pump, let it drain out, and you're done. Everything runs up here. I got a flow indicator, which is an optional accessory. Gives you a little wheel motion just to show you that there's actually movement. Depending on how fast your pump is, that'll spin faster or slower. It hits the video card first, inbound pipe here. This is a 980 Ti. Outbound coming out of the front, going right into the CPU water block. And hitting the CPU water block, coming back out, dumping into the radiator, runs on the radiator, fans cool the radiator. Fans are running at 1500 RPM currently. You can drop those down to about 400 if you want to keep them really quiet. Comes back out of the radiator, goes right back into the top, shoots down the tube and dumps right back into the middle of the reservoir, so it's all mixed in evenly, for the temperature, cooling, and everything else. Overall, I'm really under load. It doesn't run much hotter. I did put a temperature LCD screen, which is coming right off the video card. So that's really the liquid in the video card, which is all filled in here, which is pretty cool. That sensor I just put on one of the little valves in the back, so it's kind of hidden. That gives you your coolant temperature at this point. So that's your idle temp with the system running. The max I've ever seen it go under full load, that's GPU maybe at 100% overclocked, CPU running maybe 50-60%. I've seen it hit 34, 35 degrees Celsius. Runs very cool, very cool, and that's with crazy clock speeds. The GPU clock on the TI I have at 1545 core speed with its boost, and I have the memory at 8000 megahertz. So really the bottleneck on it's not temperatures, it's really voltage. I just can't get any more out of it without adding more voltage. So I may load a custom BIOS on there, give me some more headroom. Even if I turn off the light in here, well, it looks cool. If I turn the light off, it may give a little more output for the actual core, but I think it's just, I don't think it's enough to really matter, so I probably won't play with that. Other cabling I did, cabling up here to change the color to green to kind of match the look. I haven't changed these out yet. My PCIe, I'll probably change those out as well. Corsair power supply. This is one of the few that actually has LED color options. Fortunately, it doesn't have green, which really would have gone with the look of the case, but it's got the red look, blue, you can go with white, and then with red. The red look kind of matches with the memory cooler. The memory cooler is a full RGB color spectrum cooler. It needs the Corsair link controller commander to allow it to actually change it. So unfortunately it's set for red until that happens. I may change that out though so I can match the color of the system. The fans here though are full RGB fans as well, which is really cool. So you actually have control. I have them broken up into 2 quadrants so I can control the bottom 2 and the top 2 independently. You can do full color rotation. Would actually rotate through the entire spectrum of colors. You can have it locked to static. And you can even, while running through the full spectrum of colors, you can lock it on a specific shade. So if there's something you want, maybe a violet or purple or something along that nature, and you don't want just a standard static red, green, blue, you can lock it on that programmed color and it'll hold that color even on power off, which is pretty cool. It also gives you the ability too to drop down the RPM. So if you want to reduce it, I have it set up where as soon as I press that down, it cuts the RPM immediately in half, drops it down to about 750, and then I can control that further with the software on the PC, so I can drop it down to as low as 400 if we want to keep it nice and quiet. Temperatures really don't drop much with it on full speed. I mean, you may get maybe 2 degrees Celsius knocked off if you're going full RPM, so it's so minimal. You usually run it at low RPM just to keep the system really quiet. It really purrs. It's a very, very quiet system. You don't have the GPU screaming, obviously, since there's no fans on it. Beyond that, I think the only other things we're going to change out later, obviously the chipset, maybe go with one of the new Skylake processors, try to push that thing up and see what we can hit performance-wise under liquid cooling. I'm really happy with the GPU right now. The only other thing I added on there, which you can't see because it's behind the graphics card, is the Sound Blaster Z PCIe sound card. So I have that on there, also on a ribbon cable. Let's see, other than that, we can show you what it looks like with the lights off, give you an idea. Get the fan speed back up. I wanted to build, we really wanted to build a system that has the ability to change colors and stuff. Obviously we went with the green coolant. We have a green LED strip down the middle. Obviously with the RGB fans on the side and the RGB memory cooler, even the CPU cooler has color changing abilities. The only thing that's somewhat locked out of the green look is the power supply, which we may update that with some LED strips in the future. But really we wanted one that could be modular. It could change it out if you wanted a different look. You wanted red, green, blue. You could change the colors and move it around just to your preference or to someone else's preference if they wanted that for their build. You can add as many LCD screens as you want there. You could put one coming off the CPU, one coming off the GPU water block. You can have one coming out of the radiator just to monitor the coolant going into the radiator, coming out, seeing how much it's actually dropping. You can add several screens, which is pretty cool, and those are can be ordered in different colors. They're not changeable after you have them installed. I mean, this is a green backdrop. You can get them with white backdrops, orange, red. So if you want to match the color of the case, you can do that, or if you want something neutral, go with a white, something simple. We may add another one in the future. SSD you can show off in the front, which is pretty cool. It'll hold 3 more drives in the back, SSDs, mechanical drives, whatever you want. Obviously it doesn't have a spot for an optical drive, but you USB that anyways if you really wanted to do it. Overall though, super happy with the build. It's probably one of the coolest computers I've ever seen built from a standard case, open frame case. I'm really happy with how it turned out. But yeah, as we change it, modify it, do some tweaks, we'll definitely post more videos, post screenshots. If you guys have any questions about the build or maybe some of your builds, let us know. Be happy to help. And as we change parts out, overclock, we'll keep you updated with all those info and specs as we go. So thanks a lot for watching, guys.